There's a lot of news how we didn't have a flu season in 21, in the winter 2021. A few explanations for that. Most common one is that the pandemic somehow crushed the flu. In the previous video I showed that it didn't kill most of other viruses, and I was suggesting that there's something about the flu. ¿Qué pasa con la gripa? ¿Qué pasa con la gripe in Colombia? Let's look at the data. So this is flu. There are two types of flu. There's flu A and flu B. Flu B was considered to be less contagious, slower spreading, and mostly affecting older people. Flu A divides into two main types, which is the H3N2 and H1N1 PDM. You can think about them as variants of the flu. So all three are variants. So if we look at the United States from 2005 to 2020, see, this is the 2009-10 season, law of flu. This is all H1N1, the PDM one. The pandemic strain, which emerged in 2009. And this is 2019-2020, and here, boom, no more flu. Okay, so this is the 2020-2021 season, which is between week 40 of 2020 to week 20 of 21, and you can see virtually no flu. Not A, not B. If you look at Canada, again, this is the only year. Canada didn't report here, but once it started reporting, it had flu every year. This is again the 2009-10. And just like in the US, virtually zero. UK, again, same kind of pattern. Flu, 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 no flu. Japan, flu, 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 no flu. Australia, it's a different hemisphere, right? Flu, 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 no flu. China, flu, 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 flu. And then in 2020, 21, unlike the others, and actually the red one is the flu B, the variant, the flu variant, flu B. So you see here, there is in fact flu. But it's making a comeback in China. Flu B is making a comeback in China. This seems to have no impact on the UK, the US, Canada, or Japan, or Australia, which is absolutely spectacular. So, flu no more. Let's look. Flu A, H3N2, again, a variant, right? Flu A, there are two types, H3N2 and N1 PDM. Let's look at what we see in the US. I'm putting a map here and the incidence over a season. So these are seasons. This is the 2005-06 season, and this is the 2019-2020 season, and this is the 2020-21 season. Zero. Very close to zero. It's actually in the around 17 or something, and I can check. So in the US, essentially zero, H3N2. China. We saw before that they had flu B, but H3N2, zero. It seems like if it's not detected in the two of the largest countries, and it's also not detected here or in South America. In the EU, for example, it's not detected. In the UK, not. Well, a tiny, tiny bit. Maybe you can see it. A tiny, tiny bit. America, South America, essentially zero. So I'm just showing you the geographic distribution. All of these countries, no flu. South America, no flu. Then in Slovakia, which is not the largest country on earth, and it's not exactly an island, so it's in fact, it doesn't have any sea, I believe. So it's a land island. It's landlocked. So somehow Slovakia managed to maintain H3N2. Again, it's very low numbers, right? So it's about 1/10 or a bit less. So it's about 10% of the average season, but it's there. So Slovakia is the main contributor of H3N2 influenza in the EU. Vietnam, this is China right here. So China doesn't have any H3N2, but Vietnam has pretty much average, a bit below average, but about 200 cases reported of H3N2, so they definitely have H3N2. Yeah. Cambodia has pretty much the average. Kenya has H3N2, and Kenya is here. So from these two countries here in Southeast Asia to East Africa, Kenya has it. Ethiopia also has it. Not a lot. Right? The numbers are pretty low. So here it's about 80 cases reported, but they never report much. Cameroon has it. That's Central Africa. They're returning to Southeast Asia. Laos, 2021, pretty high level of H3N2 in 2021. Around 250 cases, a bit more than that reported, which is more than their average by, it's more than the average. Niger, a country in Central West Africa, West Central. Again, normal levels of H3N2. Bangladesh, pretty much average level of H3N2. 2021, yeah? So this is the same season. Bangladesh has COVID, and Bangladesh has the flu. I'll show you, Bangladesh has other types of flu as well. Pakistan has the flu. H3N2, 150 cases, which is a bit above average for them. Pakistan also had COVID. This is COVID. Timor-Leste, or Leste, I don't know. It's a tiny thing here, and they had quite a bit of H3N2. They did check a lot, but again, they checked a lot, they found. They had about 40 cases, which is the maximum for this tiny country. So, in conclusion, interim conclusion, H3N2, fluA H3N2 existed in many countries around this area, which also had significant amounts of COVID. Let's see what happens with the H1N1 PDM. This is the other variant of the flu. I think it should say here H1N1. If not, Cameroon, here in Central Africa. Cameroon has H1N1. Okay, pretty much average level, maybe a bit less. Ivory Coast, so Niger was here, Cameroon was here, Ivory Coast is here, and Ivory Coast has H1N1. About 100 cases, which is about the average for Ivory Coast. Oh my God, Niger. Niger has too. So Niger has quite a lot of H1N1 PDM, more than the average. So they had H3N2, they have H1N1. Togo, who heard of Togo? Togo had H1N1. 250 cases of H1N1 in Togo. It's at the maximum again. Let's go now to fluB. Incidence of fluB, I mean, the US had a tiny bit, right? So it's not that few cases, it's about 1,000 cases, but it is a lot less than other years. So the US doesn't have fluB, but Haiti, here, they just had their prime minister assassinated, I believe. They had a maximal level of fluB they ever had, or ever recorded. So Haiti was not that much affected. China, now this is amazing, because China, the epicenter of everything, this is an exclamation mark, China. So they actually have a pretty normal level of fluB for, and this is, the season is not over for them, because they have a pretty big country. So Bangladesh has a normal amount of fluB, maybe a bit less than normal. Remember, Bangladesh also had H3N2, so Bangladesh has two types. Pakistan, you remember Pakistan had fluB? H3N2. Pakistan has nice numbers of fluB as well. They have a pretty high peak of fluB, in fact. Saudi Arabia, about 100 samples positive in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia here, Pakistan. China. All these countries. Israel, no, by the way. Israel, 0. Iraq, 0. Iran, 0. Senegal, West Africa. They have fluB. So, ¿qué pasa con la gripa? Pasa weird, because it seems to. Let's take a look. So if we look at the red would be H3N2, this weird color would be this weird color in Haiti would be fluB, and the faint red would be H1N1. So Africa has all of them, all 3 main subtypes of flu. H3N2 has a wider spread, right? It's also in Southeast Asia and in Oceania, you would say, Timors of Oceania. And fluB is even weirder because fluB is all over this place. So it's in Africa. It's also in South Africa. I didn't show the graph, but it's also in South Africa now. Just making a search in South Africa. It's in China, it's in Saudi Arabia, it's in Haiti, but it's not anywhere else. All these countries, like all these countries, they just don't have any of the flus, which I find weird.